Yeah, I'll do the intro.
Okay.
That's cool.
You can go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Life Theories. This is Jave all the way from Australia. It is 6:39 in the morning, and here is my beautiful friend Diana over in Virginia, and we're going to talk retrogrades because retrogrades are such a wonderful thing. Oh, I love a good retrograde.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see I'm loving it. Yeah. Anyway, there's everyone talks about retrogrades and stuff with regards to how it's making them feel. Yes, it's a pain in the neck. We know that, but there's always good of it as well. As it looks down on me and goes, I'm going to get you, but you better tell her how good it is. How you going there, Diana? What's happening with you?
Yeah, retrograde. What wasn't there? Well, we know Mercury. We've talked about this on previous shows. Mercury retrograde. How things are kind of communication. Everything's backwards. Even technology, things like that. I noticed the big thing is communication. For me, usually things are misinterpreted, misunderstood. Yes, some technology issues too, and also things from the past. Are you kind of going backwards? So I noticed that issues from the past, maybe things that triggered you. Or, ex-boyfriends, girlfriend, right? People from your past, maybe they were toxic, come back around in some kind of weird form. And it's kind of how we've talked about in other videos, how, are you the new version or not? But this time, there's also, let me see what other planets are retrograde. I think I sent, hold on. Okay, so apparently, also Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, and we already said Mercury. Though they're all...
Well, lovely. Yep. The only good one out of there is Jupiter.
Yeah, so Jupiter, it says, reminder that we need to do the work in order to achieve our dreams. Pluto, it says, urge us to evaluate our relationship with power, embrace your inner power, and use it to empower others. Mercury says, evaluate how you communicate actively and remain present. Neptune smashes illusion. It gives us... It gives us the surprising opportunity to see ourselves more clearly, forces you out of your comfort zone. Uranus is time for a new path towards accomplishing older intentions, using its energy to help us think creatively. Saturn, revisit karmic lessons, which are gentler and more familiar, focus on self-discipline.
Yeah, fantastic. But, look, we always come out of it good. We always do. And I know this was all going to happen. And we just sit there. We chatted last night about stuff. And I think that, I believe that at this time, we are, as spiritual warriors, or however you want to put it, being put through the ringer now, because now we have to actually get rid of those other old programs, I guess, or just... that, and also we're going to be tested now because we're going to have to act differently, or they're going to see what kind of person they have developed. It's like doing a test. It's like, you learn something, now you're going to be put under the real test in the real world. And I've been put through that, and I think I passed, don't get me wrong, but yeah, what do you reckon there?
So, I mean, that there's a lot of different things, but, like we always say, if you can find the silver lining in it, if you can find the lessons, that's it just showing you, it's revealing, hey, this is what's blocking you from moving forward, this is what you need to do. I had an example where I had someone I dated in the past for a while reach out to me, not surprised, it's retrograde, they say that happens, but in a good note, it was, I don't want to say triggering, but it did, my ego got in the way before in the past, and I mean, we both had issues. I'm not trying to go deep into that. That would take a long time to describe, but I did finally, it's also, I think it's a good chance to open up your throat chakra more, to communicate your wants, to clarify certain things. So the way we ended off, or left, was kind of weird, and it seems like there's a misunderstanding on both ends. So I said what I had to say, how I felt, and I was a little bit expressive, a little bit, maybe a little bit anger, but I was just being real, authentic, things that were bothering me, and I didn't like how things left off, and my side of it. But then, because I opened up, it also encouraged him to open up, right? and explain his side of it, which then it made me think, man, this wasn't all like against me. You know, sometimes we internalize things, right? And our ego gets in the way, we get hurt. If we feel abandoned in any kind of way, if we feel rejected, our ego gets hurt, right? And it seems like that was going on both ends, not just mine. I'm so focused on me and what's going on with me, but he also had other things going on in his life. And it was kind of good, even though I came off a little bit aggressive a little bit. But I was, you know, it was bottling up emotions for a while. You know, I say suppression is depression, so I thought it'd be the best to get out. I still did say it I could have been a lot crazier, but, you know, I just kind of said something, well, I felt this, I just kind of said what I thought, and I thought, you know, that's a big step for me, because sometimes we don't want to express the way we feel, because we don't want to get hurt, we don't want to be rejected, or we don't know if they're going to return the same thing, and I don't really care if this person returned the same thing at this point. I just wanted to get my side and express how I feel, so I could that's me being more vulnerable, and that person was a little bit emotionally unavailable anyway, so that can be tough when, you know, when you have two people that are a little bit emotionally available. Sometimes I get like that in relationships, you know, even though on my videos seem good, you know, obviously it's something that, you know, I've had to work on. You know, everyone's been hurt in the past, and no one wants to say how they really feel, but if you don't say how you really feel, the person's not going to know, and maybe he didn't know that I was feeling that way. I thought, you know, he's doing this intentionally this whole time, right? And then I figured out, this was just, his perspective was completely different, and he actually felt that way that I felt, but from some of the things I said and did, which I'm not saying makes anything acceptable. We both were wrong. And I admitted I was wrong. You know, before I was like, oh, you did this, but I was like, you know what, I do accept that I might have said or did this, but my intention wasn't that, you know. So I mean, it just it's a good opportunity to clarify things. It's a very uncomfortable conversation, but I don't really care. I'm just becoming more authentic, accepting my authentic self, and I don't need the validation from anyone, you know. When you just validate yourself, validating yourself more is just being authentic, expressing how you feel. It's not easy, but, you know, had I expressed this before, this might have not ended up this way. I'm not trying to regret what happened, but it could have had a different outcome. But, you know, I was too in my ego, like, oh, I'm not talking to you till you talk to me, or, oh, we got in this stupid argument. It was kind of dumb, actually, but I was in my ego. I was like, I'm not reaching out first. Screw it, you know what I mean? It's like that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so that's just one thing, and, are other things coming up? I mean, in general, yeah, I just think you have to just say what you mean. It's very hard for people to do that, and, you know, a lot of people in this, say, matrix or whatever, or this world, are a different person on social media, or a different person. A lot of people are putting up, like, personas, or they want to appear a certain way, but we all have emotions, we all have feelings, so we all have some of the same issues, you know. We share similar experiences, and I think we forget our connection. We're so in our own head and our ego and everything, but that person is not on a pedestal. That person is not much. They're experiencing some of the same feelings that you have, and, you know, and by you expressing it, you might actually encourage the other person to, whether it's a relationship, friendship, I'm saying in any aspect, or even a family member, right? Even like with my dad, you know, my mom had passed, you know, in a traumatic way, and now I'm working on my relationship with my dad. I'm communicating how I feel. Before I was like, I don't want to argue with him, or I don't want to do this. Now I'm just gonna say it because I don't really care anymore, because I'm sick of like assuming that people understand where I'm coming from. They don't. A lot of the times they don't, and especially relationships or difficult people or family members, they don't. Sometimes they're on a completely different vibration, and that's it. Sometimes too. Sometimes it isn't always intentional. Like, they meant to hurt you. They're just on a different, like, I'm not saying it means I'm better than anybody. Just, you're on a different wavelength.
No, you're not.
They are not.
No, that's right.
They are not seeing it from the same perspective that you are seeing it, and vice versa. And that's why there's a misunderstanding. When you're not on the same vibration, it's, you know, it's not always like, oh, this person is wrong, or this person is bad, or intentions are bad. I'm not saying that no one has bad intentions, but sometimes they're just literally on a different wavelength, and they can't understand you. You can't understand them, and you have to accept that maybe that's the case, and maybe choose to associate with people that do understand you. You know, it's hard to have a relationship with someone that you're not on the same vibration level. Family members, okay, what are you gonna do, disown your family members? I mean, some people do not talk to them as much, but if you can just accept that, and like my dad, stop trying to explain myself to someone that he's never gonna get it, and in his eyes he's always right anyway, but that's a whole other thing. So I just have to accept it. I'm like, okay, that's cool, we can agree, disagree, but I'm not gonna exert my energy, overexert trying to explain something to someone that just doesn't matter how many different ways I explain. Doesn't matter have evidence of something in your face. They just aren't gonna get it.
Yeah, I get it. I get that. It's no. How's this one? First thing that came to me when you said about an ex-partner is pretty much, obviously, there's a value there that you wanted to, not to mend things, but you wanted to be the way you are. Like you decided to, right, I'm just going to say it how it is, but you sort of had that connection, that inner trust and that deep feeling for him. Like, and you could go, right, I want to clear this air. Whereas I'll give you an example of someone that came up and they said the same thing to me, but I thought, look, do I want to waste my time? Because they're not that important in my life. That sounds really bad, but they're not that important for me to go, do I need to go into it? And would they accept what I say? I go, probably not, because I've already got a vision, because you don't know you. Whereas your situation, you've already had that deep meaningful, so you could actually go and do it. Whereas you've got to just, for me, I'm just picking my battles because, number one, I'm tired and I can't be bothered. People's bloody shit. Bloody, there you go. But I can't be bothered with it. But I'm not going to clean up people's mess as well. You know, I'm just going to go, yeah, okay, you're all right. Yep, no worries. And I think I got taught that in the Shadow Warrior course. You have to just value where you're at. Is it really worth it? Nah, they've got the same opinion, obviously, and you don't know them very well. Anyway, so, whereas in situations come and go, okay, this is, how do you negotiate your way through? Because people are not living in the ego as well. They're not living in it. Sorry, they're living in it. Sorry, apologise. They're living in it. So I'm happy to negotiate if it's someone that directly affects me.
Yeah.
And you have respect for them like you are. I'll happily. Do I want to fuel the fire, or do I want to be a good negotiator?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in that case, right, depending on what the situation, whether you negotiate or whether you not negotiate, but you tell your truth to go, okay, yeah, is this worth it? La da 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 da. You just sort of just try to don't fuel the situation, because a lot of people's egos go in certain situations. You know what I mean? And you just got to sort of try to have a level head with things, and you got to be careful as well with certain situations.
I also learned, another thing about that is, if you're feeling really emotional and triggered, it might not be the best time to respond if you're actually trying to come to some kind of conclusion or solution, because I kind of did that yesterday, and I was just kind of, I also have a lot of emotional things from what's been going on with me recently, so if I had just stepped back a little bit, I could have responded a little bit better and eliminated some of the back and forth, the he said, she said, because it was going into kind of that, and I caught myself doing that. I was like, oh, wait, I'm starting to react, and that's because I suppressed that there's stuff I didn't say to this person for a while, so I can understand why. But had I waited a little bit, it could have maybe just been more to the point, more neutral, then it evoked emotions for him, and then he got triggered, and we both did, because we both were triggered by kind of the same thing. It was weird. But it's hard to step away sometimes.
Can I cut you there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off there. Would you think that, people say they don't say anything because they don't want to express, right? But knowing the volatile people, see, I look back on it, I'm glad I haven't spoken up in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
Because is it worth it? Is it really worth the hassle? Because of the fact we control our egos. Right, look out, here's Court. We control our egos, but other people can't. And it really isn't our job to control people's egos, because I think there's a lot of people who have to do a lot of work to understand that too. And there's people there who are open to it. That's fine. Who will come to see us. But I'll put it on a general person who lives this life. I don't think they can do that, and that's where we've got to sort of. It sounds really bad. Are you wasting your time? You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Is it better just to go? Okay, that's good. You do what you got to do, and you leave, and you put more energy into other things. Because I know previously, number one, I used to hold myself in a lot. Oh yeah, all the time, because it wasn't worth. Not to say I wasn't worth it, because I didn't want to say anything, because it might have indirectly affected me. I didn't know how to cope with it. There you go. I'm open with that. Coping with it better now, and it's still, to me, that people's egos come in. But I think it's the respect between people as well that you get. You know what I mean? Because even though you work out whether it's worth it and the respect you could actually speak about, and putting yourself into a situation, diffuse situations, because most of the situations are a load of bullshit, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's absolute bullshit. It really is. And it's basically saying you put your ego to the door. And how ego can get out of control. And that's the...
You froze. Ooh. I can't hear you. You actually froze. You might need to sign in, sign out, and sign back in.
Yeah.
I can hear you,
Sorry.
but okay, you're good now. Yeah. Okay.
Am I good now?
Yeah. Oh wait, it froze again. Yeah, maybe sign back, sign out, sign back in real quick.
Yeah, sorry about that. That's what happens when you're living in 2022 and your internet drops out.
Yep. Oh, it's freezing again.
We're learning about Mercury retrograde here, ladies and gentlemen. And this is exactly what it is. And you can wonder why people go crazy at this time. But anyway, yeah, just jump on Trailblazer of the Universe. Wonderful. I want to give a big shout out to Joy with as astronauts.
Astronaut life. Astronaut life.
Astronaut light. She does a wonderful meditation, and also meditations for badasses or whatever it's called. I got in there
Marcy,
as well.
yeah. She doesn't have a YouTube channel yet, I don't think, but she is on TikTok. Her TikTok is Badass Belief Flipper.
Badass Belief Flipper.
Or is it Baddie Belief? I don't know the exact, something like that, yeah.
We'll give her a big shout out as well, and obviously our team. And when Diana says, "Oh, look, the life theory's crew will read this meditation," awesome. So Trailblazer of the Universe, of course. Spiritual Needs TV with the big fella Cortez, who says he misses us a lot. He'll have a lot to say when he comes on, I can tell you right now.
I'm sure.
And Pixie, Sarah over in Canada. Big Sarah, small soul. Hang on, small Sarah, big soul. She's gonna get me.
Small Sarah, big soul, man.
It's 7:35. Hey, I got up at 6. Come on, give me a break.
You'll get it. You'll get it right eventually.
Well, eventually,
maybe this year
we'll
you will. Yeah.
I did get it last time. I've got proof of it. It's on the video. Anyway, small Sarah, big soul. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next week, and it's been awesome. And always stay true to yourself and learn those lessons. It's going to be hard the next couple of weeks, but remember, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and yeah, you're going to be a better person for it, and we'll look back and go, oh, remember that? Do that. Diana, have a great day. Thanks very much. Peace out. Love yous. Take care.